Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about ILUS sitting at 003s. That's where we have support here. This is a pump and dump. You see this bear flag? Very clear bear flag, right? So a bear flag usually means we break down. You look at the share price since, let's switch to the weekly. You look at the share price since 50 cents. What has happened? It just continues to go lower and lower. Can't even find a bottom. Can't even find a bottom, by the way. AITX had the similar pattern, but it finally bottomed out at 002s, 003s, and this entire year it's just having, it sits there at 002s, 003s, and then it has a big run. Talking about AITX. So AITX has bottomed out because it has enough longs supporting that bottom. If you don't have longs that want to support a bottom, it just continues to break down. And that's the problem with Ilus. There's no real support here anymore. There aren't enough longs to hold the price at a certain level. You would think sitting at 002s, 003s, people would be like, "Oh my God, woo! This is so cheap. Let me hold long here and accumulate it at this level," which leads to the stock holding that bottom. But that's not the case. What's been happening with Ilus? It's every time we've gotten a huge run. Here's a run here in the downtrend. We get runs, right? We're still gonna have some pops even in a downtrend. In a bull market, whoa, look at that. It just goes straight up, right? But in a bear market, boy, it just keeps coming down, and it has its eventual, moves here. Look at this. It went from, 10 cents to 20, so a nice 100% run there. Here we had another move. But guess what? All these runs that we had throughout the past 3 years in this downtrend, all they've done is delay the inevitable. We get a nice pop here, and we break down. We get a nice pop here, we break down. We get a nice move here, we break down. These big moves, even the little ones, they just delay the inevitable. That's how it's been. It delays the inevitable breaking down of supports and just going lower. We switch to the daily, and what do you see? Bear flag did not break down because moon market pumped it. But guess what? Where's the news? Where's the announcements? Where's the 10Q? Guess what? You know what they're going to do with the 10Q? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with the 10Q. They're not going to file it on time as usual. And then when they do come out with the 10Q, they better come out with something juicy. Because, look, we're going into 2025 blind. What do I mean by blind? Think about this for a second. Blind. By blind, I mean we don't know. Like, what's the roadmap for 2025? Anyone know? Can anyone hand me a roadmap for 2025? What's the game plan for 2025? What's the roadmap? How many sales in 2025? How many units? Anything? Because you look at AITX, they already told us their game plans for 2025 and 2026. They plan on getting out more of their machines. They got one new product, a RadCam. There's a residential camera. They're going into residential. And they're also coming out with a Romeo machine, and there's a lot of interest in that. So they're coming out with a Gen 4 product, a better version of a previous, version of that machine, and a new residential camera. And they're predicting they're going to get a lot of sales on all that. But that's not my point. I don't care if they meet the sales or not. The point is we're going to 2025 knowing exactly what's happening with AITX and what their game plan is. So we're not in the dark with AITX, which is why I confidently can buy down there at 002s, 003s when no one wants it, and let other people chase it when we dump it on their heads. I can't do that with Ilus anymore. That's why I stopped touching it, because I'm like, what are the sales? What's next for Ilus? What's their roadmap for 2025? What's the next generation of machine or whatever? Whatever they're doing, I don't even know what they do anymore. Okay, I do know, but they have a lot of subsidiaries, and they never communicate what's going on with any of them. That's, to me, it's always been suspicious. Sybil just came out of CE. We know what their game plan is. Their game plan, well, first is to get out of CE, and they accomplished that. Number 2, they got out of CE, immediately started communicating. They got a contract award they announced, And they communicated that they are going to have an incredible earnings coming up as well. And we know that going into 2025, they are going to get way, like 100 million plus in revenue, which is insane. But the most important thing is they communicate. And we're not in the dark with Sybil anymore. We know what's coming. Because they communicate. And every 10Q, they communicate exactly what's going on with each subsidiary. In their 10Q, they have a whole section dedicated to, hey, here's our list of subsidiaries within the company. And here's what's going on with each one. And here's the game plan going into next year. And they're looking to take advantage of the 61 billion Ukraine package, which means a lot of money in their bank. That's what that means. So we know we know we're going to 2025 knowing exactly we know what's going to happen if they follow through. We know what the game plan is. And when they come out with their next 10Q, they're going to divulge even more information. And that's going to be, that's going to give us a look into what could happen in the later half of 2025 more than anything, because we only know what's going to happen in the beginning of 2025. But either way, we're not in the dark now. We were in the dark when the CE was still there. Not anymore. Funny how that works, right? Comes out of CE, and now we're not in the dark because it starts communicating. Ilus, we're in the dark. Anyone got a roadmap for 2025? Investor deck? Like, what's going on? What are their sales? Any new machines? Next generation that they're building? What's happening with this company? Anyone? I mean, you can link me. I will gladly look into it. But I've tried and nothing. They said that they have more orders than they can fulfill, but they just need the funding. Which sounds weird to me, because AITX, if there's more demand than they can supply, they're not just gonna sit there and go, oh well, too bad we can't fulfill all these orders, boo-hoo, I guess. They're gonna dilute, they're gonna raise money, and they're gonna expand, and they're gonna meet that demand. If they see a market to where they can make money, they will make that residential camera and jump into that sector or whatever the case may be. They're not just going to sit there and go, oh, boo-hoo me, I don't have the funding. Man, we were really hoping on that uplist. And you know what's sad is AITX dilutes like crazy every single month. And yet it's able to hold a higher share price than Ilus. Well, before the pump. I mean, wait for this pump to die off and it'll come back down. But either way, you think about that for a second. AITX dilutes like crazy. 5 billion every year is what they dilute. But guess what? They're coming out with new product that's shipping in December. They put their money into research and development. They're coming out with a Gen 4 version of Romeo. I could go on and on. There's more to it. They came out with new technology as well, air technology. They've accomplished a lot this year. What has Ilus done? What's their new technology? What new market are they going into? What are their sales? What are their numbers for the specific subsidiaries? And if they have more demand than they can supply, why don't they just dilute and to raise the money? You're public for a reason. Because now I don't know, man. I'm just a little. It's just suspicious to me that you have three companies, 3 different OTC penny stocks. 2 of them, we know what's happening with them. We know what's going on. We know what they're about. They always communicate what's coming next. And they put their money into research and development. They get partnerships. Civil got a partnership, even during CE. AITX got multiple partnerships as well. And you mean to tell me that Ilus But what has Ilus done this whole year? What has Ilus done this whole year? Can someone tell me? And what's the game? What's the roadmap for 2025? I wonder.